it has been a long 5 years and 4 months since the finale, since the conclusion of the final season, season 6 of Teen Wolf. And folks, it is finally time to talk about the long anticipated return to all of our favorite characters in this review of the new film, Teen Wolf, the movie. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today, folks, we're going to be reviewing the new film, Teen Wolf, the movie, coming to Paramount Plus January 26th. And as I mentioned, folks, it's been a long 5 years and 4 months since we said goodbye to our favorite characters in the Teen Wolf universe, Teen Wolf series, whatever you want to call it, back in 2017. And, you know, ever since the rumors and then the confirmation in the trailer, everyone's been highly anticipating to see this film. And for me personally, I wasn't huge on Teen Wolf initially, but going back, getting into the craze, I see why everybody was so, the fan, I understand why the fan base is what it is, you know. And then recently, back in November, I attended the Teen Wolf party at New York Comic Con, which was amazing. Got to meet members of the cast, hang out with the cast. I mean, Tyler Posey is one cool dude. Got a picture with him, and he had the crowd and he had the fans going crazy the moment he walked out. And you know, he's a superstar and he walks and struts like a superstar. And I think that, and not only just a superstar, but like a rock star as well too. And you know, everything that he sort of like established with this character Scott, you kind of really see more of a reflection of himself as when he was a teenager. Now as an adult, you see that craft really shaped it and molded into this adult version of Scott that we get to meet in this film. So honestly, this film was exactly what I thought the film was going to be. But man, there were so many good moments, so many moments that just kind of cheer, so many moments of just nostalgia, just a lot of reasons to just be happy, whether you are a casual fan, whether you're a hardcore fan, or whether you're somebody that's just kind of just jumping into this kind of late. But I will say you have to watch at least some of the content. Go back and watch some of these seasons in order to really truly feel the essence of this celebration of everybody returning, because like folks are returning. A lot of people are returning, and their introductions back into the film absolutely is like hey, it's a big deal, but do you know why it's a big deal type of thing. So if you don't know these characters, you're gonna be like, they kind of built that person's introduction like I'm supposed to care. Yeah, you are supposed to care, because like it's a big deal that this is happening. You got the cast members return. I think you got there's like a couple of folks I did not see. And I will say that the folks that do not return, they did handle it in a very tasteful way. Like, you know, in terms of like acknowledging them, but why they're not here and whatnot. I think they did a really good job in that. But within this film now, it's years later, you know, all of our teens are not so much teens now, have grown up. And when you talk about where we kind of left them off at, in terms of Allison and you know, her death, and now Chris, you know, is starting to see Allison. Everyone's starting to see Allison. So folks thinking that Allison may somehow, some way still be alive here. So like the grieving of Allison is still very real for everybody, but now people are starting to see her, and now this will bring the pack back together, because it goes from an isolated incident of like saying like, am I tripping, to like everybody else saying like, you know what, I'm having the same visions, the same thoughts, etc., etc., etc. So could Allison still be out there? And if Allison's still out there, and if they somehow were able to find Allison or revive Allison or bring her back from another world, whatever it may be, what else may cross? Like, what else may cross that threshold along with her? And I mean, there's always been kind of thoughts about like Allison, you know, if she ever crossed to the dark side, what would that be like? That was a theme at a point of life, like what would that be like? And obviously her being the villain is a thing, you know. But along with Allison returning, a whole bunch of other villains of the past decides they're going to also return. So this is nothing but a big celebration of notable faces, characters, and dynamics from the past all returning into this film. So, like, to be honest, the toning of this feels very much like the production on MTV. And if you didn't watch it on MTV, I can honestly say, like, the very, like, more current tone and feeling of it is like almost the entire slate of shows on the CW. So, like, yes, it's going to have its corny moments. Yes, you're going to have some moments where the CGI looks super noticeable. And then the tone still feels very family friendly, but at the same time too, like, it has a lot of heart. It has those cliche moments, but it's enjoyable, you know? So, like, it absolutely feels like a CW episode of something, but just extended to 2 hours. And much like, you know, if you grew up watching Teen Wolf on MTV, then yes, it feels like a Teen Wolf episode just extended to 2 hours here. But yeah, well, as far as the plot, I mean, the plot is very simple here. Folks think they see Allison, they go after Allison returns along with a whole bunch of other familiar villains of the past, and now it's up for the pack to get back together to stop this threat. Very simple. And kind of see where Allison's alliance is, because for her, and the last time we seen her, you know, it was a heartbreaking moment, and I think that, like, being able to kind of rekindle that moment, if possible, what would that look like now that they're grown up? So beyond that too, you also got Derek, the alpha here, his son Eli, trying to tap into his powers, but it's been a struggle, and understanding that Eli represents this new generation of teen wolves. So, you know, we get introduced to Eli, who is struggling to change and embrace his abilities, and Derek, meanwhile, is trying to, you know, be that proud father, but teaching the ways, but also try to understand his struggles. And, like, Eli's having struggles not only with him being a wolf, but also, like, in school, and he's a teenager. He's having all those type of things, you know. So, like, they explore that as well too. And I think that, like, this film just does a really good job in terms of just the nostalgia. So we, you know, we see clips of the past, and I mean, when you talk about the clips that we see in the past, I mean, yeah, we get some really cool moments here. You know, we get the Allison and Scott moments, we get Derek moments, which, you know, all of these characters have phenomenal story arcs. So, like, the fact that they're very much the highlight of this film, and going back and seeing some of that footage, it definitely triggers all of the emotions. But I gotta say, man, Tyler Posey is one cool cat. As Scott in this, man, I think the swagger is just elevated to the next level. And frankly, the entire cast is just having a lot of fun in this film. You know, obviously you can tell that they're all happy to be back and whatnot, and people reprising their roles, and everybody being together on set again. I mean, granted, like, as the fans, you want these things, but, like, you know, we have to cherish these moments while we have them, because this is not always the way. You know, this is not always the plan. You know, sure, we would love to have reunions or additional seasons or movies and whatnot, but it's not always guaranteed. So the fact that they get to have this, you can feel the celebration amongst everybody involved here. As far as, you know, kind of going back to the plot here, yeah, it takes about like 40 minutes until we really get introduced to our villain. Yeah, beyond Allison arc and the Eli arc, there's still a villain, there's still a threat, and as I said, you know, other villains of the past will return. I don't know what's out there in terms of the trailer and whatnot. I don't want to spoil that. I've seen the trailer, but I can't remember what's actually in there and what's not in it, so I don't want to spoil anything. So maybe some of the stuff I'm kind of dancing around you already know. But, like, yeah, and, like, even Allison returning is like a thing that you cannot avoid, because, like, this movie's 2 hours, and, like, there's no way I'm about to tell you about a 2-hour film and not say that Allison doesn't return, and that being a part of the film. Her return is a part of the film going forward. I'm not going to hint, like, this whole thing of, like, if she returns, she doesn't return. She returns, and then again, the whole dynamic with her and Scott. Allison is out here being like Katniss everything from the Hunger Games, and, like, you know, she's targeting everybody. She is partially the villain in this, you know. So we have some very close call moments, some moments that kind of make your heart sink and your jaw drop. Like, you're getting all those sorts of different things, but at the same time, you get a cool balance of, like, cool moments, but also very moments of you're on the edge of your seat where you're just like, I know they're not going to do this, you know. But the biggest thing I also think too is that, like, I thought the score and the soundtrack was really dope. I couldn't help but to just continue to just kind of rock out the entire time with this film. Like, the score was definitely keeping things flowing. Because on the other hand, like, yeah, this film was a lot of fun, but like, yes, it gets corny as expected. Absolutely. And it's completely filled with very overly dramatic moments. Obviously, the triggering of a feelings with nostalgia, but like, there's a lot of joy in this, and with those flashbacks, as I mentioned, with Allison, Scott, and Derek, you know, it just brings a lot of heart, and you're just so happy that this is even like a thing that's even happening, that this is real, you know. And I think that, like, you know, when you talk about the production, like, yeah, it feels like a television film, just, you know, longer episode. And so, yeah, you're going to see moments where the CGI is kind of wonky, and sometimes how they kind of use the green screen. And I think that overall, whether you're a diehard or whether somebody that's just kind of wanting to get in something new, I think there's a lot of reasons why everybody should check this out. Granted, I think that, like, why it's coming out on Paramount Plus is probably a good idea to really extend the viewership here. I think this totally could have had a run at the theaters. I think this fan base is so loyal. And again, I've seen it. Even though I'm not going to say I'm like a hardcore fan of this, because I had to kind of go back to kind of get like acclimated with this. But I've seen the fans at conventions. I've seen the fans at the New York Comic-Con party for Teen Wolf. And folks really love, grown folks really love this because they grew up with this show, as the actors grew up as well too. And I think this could have made a good theatrical run and made some money by all means. But overall, either way, I think this was fun, and I wasn't expecting to have this much fun, but I did. I really did. So, you know, there's a lot of things to look forward to in this film. Whether you're just happy to see your favorite characters back, whether you have a crush on one of the Tylers here, or whether you just cannot believe that they actually pulled it off to do a movie, there's a lot of reasons to be excited for. But if not, if you've never heard of Teen Wolf ever in your life, and somehow you just love the wolf genre and you just want to get into something new, you got this, you got Wolfpack. There's a lot of reasons to really get back invested into this genre. And I think that, like, this film was fun. For 2 hours, it kind of breezed by, had some good moments, had some good action too. I think about halfway through the film, about an hour in the film, you got some good solid action. The third act was pretty good. You know, the wolves and their abilities, you know, anybody who likes enhancements and whatnot and stuff, like, you get all of that sorts of stuff, and you got some good fights, you know. I think for everybody, especially my age range, who grew up in everybody knows what Power Rangers is, but like, you know, if you were a fan of Power Rangers, I think you have some of those moments as well too. Good versus evil, and it's just these very simple fights of team versus team, and you got folks showing out doing their abilities, and it just makes it fun. So, like, a lot of positive reasons to want to check this out. But yeah, folks, do so. Teen Wolf the movie, January 6th, Paramount Plus. Jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts, your excitement, your hype for this one. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.